Hey guys, Eileen Turtle here. Welcome to BOMISpirit. This is going to be the weekly intuitive astrology reading for August 5th to August 11th. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Sorry I was a little late. Also, just speaking honestly, I'm moving a little slow today. If you caught the Mercury retrograde astro talk, you'll probably know why. We got a kitty cat. Hold on a second. Clyde, can you scooch? Could you scooch, please? Thank you. I'm gonna use this time to plan what I want. Oh, wait. Want to get done for fall. My birthday's November. Oh, a fall baby. Hey, fall baby. Speedy recovery. Oh, thank you. Are we live? Yes, we're live. We are live. Yeah, all of that like throat respiratory stuff is definitely energetic, and I'm still moving through it. But it's definitely got me moving a little slow, okay? But I got water, I got tissues, so just bear with me, as many of you did during the Mercury retrograde video. Hi, Ellen Turtle for the Astro Talk. Should we just watch our rising sign or our moon? Oh, I meant to put the labels. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot. Hold on. It's been a very Mercury retrograde day. Oh my gosh. Bobby. Oh. I'm glad he's feeling better, but he is just like all over the place. The Mercury retrograde video. Thank you. I was like, wait, I was talking about something. So for the signs, the astrology portion is more geared towards the rising sign placement for that. But for the pulling cards and the channeling, you could watch that for your, for your sun, your moon, your rising. If you're just generally like to watch specific signs for channel messages, you can absolutely use the channeling reading portion of the sign portion in the Mercury retrograde video. But again, the astrology that I go over is more so for your rising sign. So I just want to make that clear. Having sinus issues since April. Oh God, sorry. Definitely feeling Mercury retrograde. I decided to turn in a late assignment this week. LOL, for the first time ever. Oh, you guys love Clyde so much. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. Yeah, I also was late because moving slow, but also Clyde needed something last minute, and then I cut my finger like right as I was like about to start. It was like Mercury retrograde. It is what it is. But I hope you guys have enjoyed your new moon Leo so far. We are still under that influence. Another Mercury retrograde thing. I attempted to upload that to Vimeo for those who don't want to be a patron, but you were curious about what I had to say about the new moon Leo. But it was glitchy. It was glitchy, and I couldn't upload it. So I'm gonna try again later. But Mercury retrograde. It's okay. It is what it is. Let's see. Your money tree is looking super happy. Yeah, definitely. I'm trying. This isn't exactly like my place doesn't get a lot of sunlight. So even though I'm in Arizona, so it's a little tough sometimes to make sure it's taken care of. But yeah, it's gonna be a great day. Yes, I love that attitude. It's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great day. Now let's go ahead and jump in. Let me get my timestamps ready. I guess I'll just use this pen. I wanted a different color. Oh, didn't even see my own pens right in front of me. Jeez. Okay, hold on. We'll do that. Overview, that astrology portion, and then we'll see what we do for collective. If we're gonna do one reading or if we're gonna get groups again. I was in Sedona this weekend. Hope I run into you. LOL. Oh, I wasn't out too much this weekend. So been with you for years. What was your other cat's name? I still remember him. Oh, Sly. Mr. Sly. Yeah. He was a good cat. I miss him. I think about him every now and again. Okay. All right. Let's get into overview. All right. Now, for those who don't really want to know the astrology, you just want to know what's up, this is the portion for you, okay? And you can also use the timestamps to go to the readings and channelings that are later in the video. But to just give a quick little paraphrase of what this week has in store for us, we actually don't have a lot of big transits happening. Juno is moving into Libra on August 9th, but August 7th to me is actually going to be a really interesting day. To me, that looks like a peak day, energetically speaking, and it is before 8/8. I know a lot of people like to utilize 8/8 for their manifestations. I'm really over that word, and so I'm just trying to replace that word with cultivation. I'm just needing to say it because that's how you rewrite the program, right? So I'm just going to be saying that a lot in my videos to come. But I know a lot of people use 8-8 for cultivation, which obviously, if you feel that resonates with you and you feel called to that, if you do the Lionsgate thing, do you all day. But August 7th is actually the day where there's a lot of really strong energy going on, and we will talk about that, okay? But getting into what this week has in store, there's going to be a much stronger desire to connect with other people around this time, to talk to them, to make plans with them, and even to potentially nurture other people or other people wanting to nurture you. So just keep, so just enjoy that as it comes up. But keep in mind, we are in Mercury retrograde. Okay. And so while all this talking and mingling and connecting is going on, there's also this desire to make plans for everybody, whether you are engaging with other people or not. And the making of the plans is really geared towards legacy, long-term resources, money, finances, commitments, that sort of deal. And this Mercury retrograde is all about how we are doing that, how we go about that, and where our intentions and motivations are really coming from. And so just know that if you make plans right now, there's nothing wrong with making plans during a Mercury retrograde. Just if you didn't watch the Mercury retrograde video, by all means, go ahead and watch it. There's a lot of information in there. Just know that this particular Mercury retrograde is going to be a little bit more disruptive than a normal one, just because we have a lot of square Uranus activity with Mercury on top of things through the whole course of it. But coming back to this week, if you decide to finalize plans right now, again, nothing wrong with it. Just don't be surprised if there's a lot of unforeseen changes down the line, and those changes don't have to be bad. Those changes might actually open up your awareness to things you haven't considered before and may lead to some interesting breakthroughs, but you will really benefit from being very adaptable during this week and really the next 6 weeks. Okay. Now, along with all of this, there's also a lot of optimism and charisma also going on here, thanks to Jupiter. And with these social experiences, there's going to be a lot more play, a lot more fun, a lot more creativity to come out of that. And it's also very supportive for any soul healing that needs to still continue to take place. Not everybody's going to experience that. I know I say these things a lot, but this is the thing. We are a collective and everybody's in a different spot. So just because I mentioned deep soul healing a lot, because there are aspects that are helping us with that for a long period of time, doesn't mean that you need to continue to do that unless that's just where you're at, okay? I'm speaking to everyone right now. So you got to discern for yourself how that applies to you. But all of that is going to support any deep soul healing, authentic expression, and self-discovery. A lot of like exploration and discovery is what I was feeling this week too. Like just a lot of desire to go and get out there and just, just have these new experiences, which feels really good. But, there's other stuff tied to that. Anyway, let's continue. There's going to be a theme of promises. This is interesting because I was writing my notes and then I started to feel that energy come in and I was like, oh, the notion of promises, the notion of oaths, the notion of obligation. It's like, it felt like chains is what it felt like. And some of you might have already moved through this energy. So again, it might not apply to you or might not affect you that much compared to other people. But the promises that we are making now and the promises we've already made, there's a need to like really take a look at all those things and evaluate them and decide if it's time to break a promise, honestly. Decide if it's time to break certain oaths or obligations and invest in different ones or new ones, or even rewrite the contract. Soul contracts are huge this week too, for many reasons, and we'll get into that. But even with the oaths and the promises, some of this stuff also felt very like karmic and like past lifey and like family oriented. And so that you may even realize that you have been maintaining a promise or an oath that's just purely emotional or energetic, like not even physical, and it's actually restricting you and it's actually holding you back. So it's very interesting. It feels very like underworld-y and again past life like and through the realms of time and space. Like it feels really, really much like that. So it's just interesting. There's also going to be windows of opportunity for people during this week to have a remembrance on a soul level of what is fulfilling to you, what makes you happy, or what you're just intrigued by. But even with people, like you might meet people around this time where you're like, my soul remembers you and it's unlocking something for me and I don't know, like it's, you know what I mean? It's like almost a deeper level of soul recognition. that could be taking place at this time, but it's also leading to remembrance. The word remembrance was coming up a lot, and it's also very collective too. Has been collective is what I meant to say. Okay. Now, when it comes to relationships, moving into the partnership realm, partnerships are subject to very unexpected events and changes and even commitments. And when I say partnerships, for those who are new, welcome. When I say partnerships, I'm speaking to like bonded relationships, like where there's a contract in place, you live with someone, you got kids with someone, you got a business with someone, or a soul contract. But it's more in that realm of like, they're just not fleeting. It's like you have actually signed up with this person to have some sort of set expectation of support, right? Vice versa, or one to the other. That's what I mean by partnerships, okay? Like you could meet an unconventional person at this time and get into some sort of commitment that you never would have anticipated. In a current partnership, there could just be this like need to try something new, explore, discover, etc. And that leads to drastic changes or even rewriting the terms of your partnerships. But all of it is going to assist with deeper insights to self and also just life-changing occurrences. So all in the good realm. When we use the word change, I know people get a little scared, but it is for the benefit of all, okay? And then this last little tidbit, personal skills that we have attained through our own life experience, through our own traumas, our wounds, our challenges, that sort of deal. We're going to have an easier time actually utilizing that for fulfilling experiences or even aligning to a calling of ours, or suddenly a calling might just present itself and we're just like, oh my God, we're in the right place at the right time. There's also that kind of energy too this week. So yes, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Just embrace and welcome the opportunity to discover and explore yourself, or what else life has to offer at this time, what people have to offer at this time. And just know that yes, changes will come as a result of your exploration. Some of it might be very disruptive, some of it might be very frustrating, but it is going to lead to insights and transformation. So it's all good. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and get into the actual astrology that's at play. Oh man, I meant to turn that off. That's my air conditioner. I always turn it off because it's just so loud. Hopefully it doesn't bother you guys. Anyway, whatever, it's cool. All right, so let's get into astrology. So this first section, I labeled it, let's talk. So Venus is in Virgo this week, and Mercury is retrograding now in Virgo. Both of them are working with the White Rabbit asteroid in Virgo throughout the entirety of the week, and they are both working with Sedna on and off. There's also a little bit of Ceres Cappy energy with Ceres. With Venus, excuse me. It's hot. I know, I saw that, I couldn't help but giggle. My place is pretty well insulated, so it's like I can usually tolerate a couple of hours without it being on before I get way too hot. But also the noise is just distracting for me too. I'm very sensitive to like noise and frequencies. But anyway, let's get back to this. So we have a lot of Virgo energy going on between Mercury and Venus and the White Rabbit asteroid. And like I said, Venus is also playing with Ceres a little bit, and both Mercury and Venus are playing with Sedna. When it comes down to it, again, bringing back August 7th, Mercury and Venus are going to be exactly conjunct on that day in Virgo. So just know, again, that is a big, not important, but a really intense day as far as energy is concerned. All of this is building up to potential experiences that are very alluring. Like you may feel a bit of a pull or a call to go and like plan something or go and talk to someone, and like almost like you, like, not that you can't help it, but you can just feel it, and it's kind of just tempting. A little bit of a temptation there, not in a bad way. Temptation's not always bad. Just know, again, if you follow that call, that allure, even the charisma of other people, that if you invest in anything with anyone at this time, or again finalize plans, again, a lot of changes to come by way of that. Okay, a lot of unforeseen changes. Doesn't have to be bad. Just know that's what you're signing up for. Actually, I think that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Sometimes when Mercury and Venus, when Mercury and Venus get into bed together, not only is it charismatic, but it can also bring a lot of creative energy as well. And this is also combined with Virgo. There is this joy from nurturing other people or cultivating with other people. So this is also where collaborations come into play. Okay. As far as where this is going to be affecting you in your charts, Virgo 0 to 10 degrees is what I would say. If you have any Virgo placements in that range, you're probably going to really feel the intensity of, I need to go talk to this person. I need to go and make that plan. I need to go organize. I need to go cultivate. I need to go nurture this person, etc. Okay? All right, so the next thing, this one is very minor. I would say it's more like supportive, just supplemental kind of background, but it's nice. It's a nice one, so I figured it's kind of worth mentioning. So Chiron and Eris, I always have to say it like that, Eris, are both in Aries. Chiron at 23 degrees and Eris at 25, and they are both retrograding. Both of them working in a conjunction like that. It's really just highlighting our own insecurities and wounds and things of that nature, but really wanting to overcome them and really wanting to do something about it. Both of them are trine Vesta in Leo. Well, Vesta's moving from 20 degrees to 23 degrees in Leo. Vesta's like blueprint energy. Vesta represents how we find our own innate fulfillment, right? Sacred flame, if you will, what makes us get up and get out of bed in the morning. So this is a nice aspect because it's really getting us to recall what we've been through, recall what we've learned in our life, and apply it to something that can be fulfilling for us. And it can be anything. It could be something you do solo. It could be something you do with other people. It could be something that you do at work. It could be anything. It could be a passion project. It could be fun self-care. Depends on what houses these are falling in for you, right? So wherever you have Leo, 20 to 23 degrees, really 20 to 25, just giving it that full range, is probably where you're going to experience this like level of fulfillment and satisfaction. But Chiron and Eris being in Aries, 20 to 25 degrees, in that house is where you're actually going to be recalling certain things that you've been through that have been kind of hard. Okay, again, your own personal struggle story, if you will, coming out of the house of Aries. That's what's going to help you to find satisfaction in your house of Leo, is how I would look at that. Okay, and creative expression and leadership, and just even the realm of self-esteem and believing in yourself and confidence are highlighted themes around this aspect. Okay, all right, moving on. All right. Oh, this is a biggie. I need a sip of water before I start this one. This one's a whole page. mm. Mm. Sorry, I'm like getting communication that does not belong in this present moment right now. I don't know if you all have been experiencing this, but my telepathy has been way stronger, and it's just been a lot. It's been a lot, and that's what I just got hit with. I was like, oh, no, not the time. It's like, focus. Anyway, so let's come into this section. This is probably the most influential part of the astrology this week that I'm going to talk about. And like I said, there's a lot of aspects. I'm not going to go over the whole diatribe of like every single aspect here because it's a lot. So I'm just going to give you my best paraphrased version. Yes, please hit the like button if you are enjoying this. Please, please, please. It does help the algorithms and all that. So there's three kind of parts that are going on with this next section I'm about to talk about. I actually labeled it exploration and anchors. This is where that promise energy and oaths and contracts and things that we didn't realize we were continuing to sign up for or continuing to honor, because it's like it feels very like deep, or just again like on a soul level or past life related or ancestral related, things that we have continued to honor and oblige. That's the word that's coming through, knowingly or unknowingly. It feels mostly unknowingly. And again, if you've already been through this, it's probably not going to be as strong for you as it is for other people, but this is just what I'm feeling. But let's get into it. So the sun is sextile Jupiter while also opposing Chariclo. This is part of that confident, optimistic, enthusiastic, and also a sense of luck and fate, just because Jupiter is creating sextiles, and that's just what Jupiter does. But this is really occurring in terms of your own ability to express yourself, social experiences, and also how you play or how you create or how you explore. Some of you may be finding that it's hard to do this, especially with like the term explore. Every time I say it, I can feel this tension. And I think that's also the pull of what we didn't know we were still like honoring as far as like contracts and promises and things of that nature. But we'll get into it. If you're having trouble trying to get into that vibe of exploring, etc., and having fun and trying new things, it's probably because there are things that are holding you back. And so probably worth reflecting on that and sitting with that. But let's continue. Now, even though the sun is sextile Jupiter, a little bit more towards midweek, starting midweek and then continuing to the next week, starts to conjunct Mars. They're technically conjunct now, it's just really weak. I talked about that in the new moon Leo too. But I think they go exact on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So keep in mind the conjunction between Jupiter and Mars is getting stronger. But that conjunction, Mars is amplifying Jupiter's enthusiastic, confident vibe. Mars also brings a sense of ambition to the table and more of a push, more of a, no, we're going to do this. We're going to go and make this happen. We're going to go and learn this. We're going to talk to this person. We're going to try that new thing. We're going to experiment. We're going to explore. We're going to discover. Mars really makes us want to do that even more so. Again, more like towards the middle of the week, and then it's just going to amplify all the way through to next week. Here's where it gets a little funky because Jupiter is square Saturn. A lot of people have talked about this aspect for quite a bit, myself included. This aspect is peaking on the 19th, and it will peak again, I want to say in November, if memory serves. But Jupiter square Saturn, Saturn being in Pisces, creates this restriction. It creates this push-pull between Jupiter and Saturn, where Jupiter wants you to explore and almost like break out in a way and learn and have fun and go talk to people. Saturn wants you to do the opposites. Kind of. Saturn really wants you to sit within yourself. Saturn wants you to be able to hold yourself. Saturn wants to teach you how to have faith, wants to teach you how to take care of yourself, wants to teach you about matters of your soul, that sort of deal. And so Saturn kind of wants you to sit down. So it's a matter of balancing the two. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other in its entirety. It's just about balancing those two forces, okay? And I talked about this in New Moon Leo specifically about how important it is to hold on to yourself at this time. Because while we are getting into this window where we can just go out and experience the buffet of life, it's essentially, if we don't hold on to ourselves, we can get lost in that, especially with the White Rabbit asteroid also emphasizing Mercury and Venus, but specifically Mercury for this Mercury retrograde, right? It could be really easy to fall down the rabbit hole, right? Or just become reckless and not honor what it is we truly need. So just to always be in tune with that, that's what Saturn wants us to do. So just balance those forces. But when Mars gets in the mix with Jupiter in this square, because if Jupiter and Mars are working together, they're both square Saturn, right? And when Mars squares up Saturn, that's a malefic squaring a malefic. That gets intense. That turns into feeling pushed back by other people. That turns into like power struggles. That turns into like issues around your own sense of authority and power, maybe like overestimating it by being too like aggressive or too pushy, or even underestimating it by allowing people to be too pushy onto you. So I'm not saying that those things are going to happen to you. It just is the energy that is thrown into the mix here. So you can, again, succumb to that energy or not, right? But it is interesting. And then we have Chariklo in the mix here too. Chariklo being an Aquarius is trine Jupiter and Mars, and that is a huge bonus. That's a huge positive. It's really emphasizing how much we are allowing ourselves to explore and discover life, and again, the buffet of life. The more we allow ourselves to do that, it's very supportive for being our authentic selves and also deepening our own soul healing for anybody, again, who needs to do that. Just hold on to yourself. It gives you the opportunity to learn about yourself, but once you do, just hold on to it, right? And don't get lost in all of the ness, all right? Chariklo also, especially in Aquarius, also leans towards music and using your voice and sound, the medicine of sound. She is like the medicine woman in astrology. She's really interesting, actually. And then there's one other thing. Orcus. When is Mars square Saturn? So Mars is starting to join Jupiter midweek, and then they're going to continue to be together, and they will peak in their conjunction on the 14th next week. Now the square, when does Mars go square Saturn? It's got to be next week. It's got to be next week. Wait, didn't I write? Thank you for asking that because I think I missed a note here. On August 7th, the sun will be exactly sextile Jupiter. That's a peak of confidence and luck on the same day that Venus is working with Mercury. So I'll come back to that question in a minute. But August 7th is actually going to be the day where it's going to be probably the easiest to go out and talk to people and explore and discover, okay? With confidence and luck on your side. But coming back to Mars square Saturn, I would say Mars is going to go exactly square Saturn next week. I don't have the exact day, but even just looking at where they're at now, Mars ends this week on the 14th. Saturn is at 17 degrees by the end of the week. Mars moves faster than Saturn, especially since Saturn's retrograding. So I would definitely say next week is when Mars will go exactly square Saturn. Because if Mars and Jupiter are exactly conjunct on the 14th, it's probably, this is just a guess, it's probably going to be the 16th. August 16th is probably when it's going to be exactly square. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Okay? Now, let's talk about one other thing here. Let's talk about Orcus. So Orcus is in Virgo, 15 degrees, and Orcus is actually square Mars and Jupiter while opposing Saturn. Orcus is fascinating. You guys have heard me talk about Orcus, and I did a little bit of a deeper dive. Oh, hey, Marcy. Hey, Marcy. I think it's the 16th. Yeah, 16th feels right. I did a little bit of a deeper dive on Orcus today, just because, wanted to. No reason, just wanted to. And with Orcus, it's very Plutonian in its nature just because of the nature of its orbit cycles. It's akin to Pluto and also has a Neptunian energy to it. Assigned to astrologers by literally its like shape, size, orbit, behavior, not even looking into its discovery chart. But Orcus also speaks to righting wrongs. It has like, how Pluto likes to like dig up secrets and reveal them to the light? Orcus likes to punish the guilty and corruption. Well, Pluto does not. So Orcus has that kind of flavor to it. But Orcus also rules healing modalities. And when I was getting into it, I was getting that feeling of imprisonment and freedom, like almost like a polarity with Orcus. And that's where this promise energy started to come through. Like when we promise something, when we have an oath to something, I just heard blood oath. Ugh, feels very ancestral. It just like gave me the heebie-jeebies. We can really become imprisoned by our own promises, right? And that's what I'm feeling with it. What are the traits of a fifth house stellium? Well, not for now. Not for now. I need to focus on this. But that's the flavor that I was getting with Orcus, especially with this week. So as it's opposing Saturn and it's squaring off Mars and Jupiter, it feels like a challenge. It feels like, oh, you want to go explore? You want to try new things? Well, you're obligated over here. Well, you need to honor this contract. Well, you're tied to this ancestral line. Well, you're tied to, like, you know what I mean? And there's almost like a self-punishment that I was also getting to, like how we unknowingly punish ourselves, imprison ourselves by what we tie ourselves to, what we oblige, and even entertain, even like on a psychological level, not even a physical level or even an emotional level, is what I was getting there. And so there is going to be the challenge this week of reevaluating those things and really being honest with ourselves of what am I imprisoning myself with? Like emotionally, psychologically, or even physically, that maybe I don't need to anymore, right? Like maybe I can actually break out of that and be free of that and be done with that. That's something that was coming through really strongly with Orcus. So just very interesting. So there are a lot of aspects in this one, like I mentioned, but as far as the signs go, Gemini, 10 to 20 degrees is where Jupiter and Mars will be. And that is that ambitious, I want to go and explore and do new things, all that stuff, which is supported by Aquarius, 15 to 20 degrees, as far as being your authentic self and expressing yourself from an authentic place, and also any deep soul healing that needs to take place there too. Pisces and Gemini are the most important ones here. I want to make that clear. Pisces and Gemini are the most important ones. Pisces, 15 to 20 degrees is where Saturn is going to be transiting, and that is that pressure. That's that pressure to honor yourself, right? Hold on to yourself. Also, where Saturn is, there may be certain delays that come up or challenges that come up to test your faith, to get you to really evaluate things, to reflect on things that you need to release and let go of, like promises or self-imprisonment, right? Things of that nature. So Saturn and Orcus are working together, but remember, Saturn is definitely that like firm hand that's going like, hey, make sure you're really looking at things and make sure you're not like losing sight of things here. So it's just interesting how that's coming through. And that is again supported by Orcus, with Virgo in 15 to 20 degrees, but I'd really pay attention to Gemini and Pisces, almost said Saturn. I'd really pay attention to Gemini and Pisces here, okay? And then, do we have another one? Yeah, we do. Okay, that's what I thought. We have one last one. This is more long-term aspects, but this is where the partnership stuff is coming into play. Okay, don't forget to hit the like button. Just saying. We got 240 people and 100 likes. Please do it. Please, please, please. I wrote this one as life-changing partnership events. So we have some long-term aspects that we've been experiencing for quite a while. Neptune sextile Uranus, Neptune sextile Pluto, even Pluto's going into a trine with Uranus. We've been under these influences for a long time, and that feels more collective global to me than the individual, so to speak, as far as how they're working together. It's really helping us to just get a bigger picture as far as what doesn't work and what needs to change and how we can go about making those changes. That's just more global collective. But all of these celestial bodies, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are still working with Juno. So Juno, super, super active, probably one of the most active celestial bodies this week, actually. Juno is moving from Virgo 28 degrees to Libra 0 degrees this week. And the way that this is like coming through, Juno is in a trine with Uranus and with Pluto, but it's in opposition to Neptune. So the trine with Uranus and Pluto allows for those like unforeseen changes, right? Or like big unexpected events within partnerships, the way I defined partnerships before. But with these changes, it's actually helping to see yourself deeper. So there's still a lot of self-discovery going on this week, and probably honestly for the next 6 weeks. Yes. Along with that, for those who don't like have partnerships right now, which doesn't have to be romantic, it could even be like in business or what have you, there could be some new ones coming in, but the ones that are coming in could be very unconventional, or could be partnerships that you never thought you'd be a part of, and you will learn a lot about yourself, and it probably could be very transformative and life-changing as well. So whatever goes on in your partnerships this week, I would just embrace it, because it's like every time I tune into it, I feel like the light is just breaking through in any sort of shifts that are happening, and it feels really good. Unexpected, maybe a little, whoa, what's going on here? But it feels really, really good and very beneficial. So I would just embrace that. There is also a lot of aspecting with Sedna too. I haven't talked about Sedna in a bit, but Sedna moving from Taurus to Gemini, which happened last year, now it's really sitting comfortably in Gemini at 1 degree. Sedna is this more primordial sort of energy influence. And with it moving into Gemini, I just keep feeling remembrance. That's just what keeps coming through as a channeling. Remembrance, remembrance, remembrance. And I feel that like stronger soul recognition with certain people with that. Excuse me. Recalling certain information. You could even say ancient wisdom. I feel like that's like, I don't know, I don't really like using that word here. But it does feel like a deep remembrance or a deep recall that your soul is experiencing through Sedna. And Sedna is sextile Neptune and also trine Pluto at this time. And like I said, is also aspecting Venus a little bit and Mercury a little bit. So Sedna is also very influential here too. Sedna is just a very long-term background energy. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm just making it known to you. Now, as far as where in your chart to be looking for this kind of stuff to be taking place, it's more so in the realm of partnership. But Virgo 25 to 29 degrees is where I look to see that, like what could be happening in the realm of partnership, okay? Now keep in mind, depending on where this is in your houses, it might not be a very physical experience. It could even just be you're gaining some interesting insights into your relationship with partnership or beliefs in partnership. It's all dependent on what house it's going through. Now, to give a other quick little summary, if you don't want to look at like all these little individual ranges and you just want like, hey, just tell me what sign to really look for, like very simply, Virgo, Pisces, and Gemini, I would say, are the most impacted signs this week. So the mutable signs. If you have any significant placements in Virgo, Gemini, or Pisces, you will really feel this, okay? And as far as houses go, I would look at the entire house of Virgo, because we literally have Juno, Orcus, and Mercury and Venus going through there. Gemini, 10 to 20 degrees is what I would say for Mars and Jupiter, and Saturn 15 to 20 degrees in Pisces. Every time I look at Pisces, the Pisces symbol, I always say Saturn because they're so close in the way that they look. But just to recap, Pisces 15 to 20 degrees where Saturn is going to be, that's the pressure. that's the pressure to really look and evaluate what you need to release and let go of. Also, how much are you really taking care of yourself? And also, any challenges or delays that come up to test your faith as well will be coming up through there. And then Gemini, 10 to 20 degrees with Mars and Jupiter, that is where you're going to feel the enthusiasm and the confidence and the gung-ho attitude of I'm going to go and explore and do this, that, or the other. It is very internal, but I do feel like there's going to be a lot of external experiences, like very physical experiences happening there too. Unless it's in like a water house, like 12th or 8th house or something like that is what I would say. But like I said, Virgo, the entire house is what I would look at because there's so much going on there. And that is mostly where everything is kind of playing out as far as like communication, collaboration, making plans, finalizing things, getting organized, unexpected things happening in the realm of that too. Wanting to nurture people, people wanting to nurture you, all of that will be going down in the house of Virgo. All right. Okay. I'm ready for channeling now. Bring it on, Arcus. I'm here for it. I didn't know we had so much activity in Virgo. Yeah. That's the thing. Like when you just look at the planets and you don't account for like asteroids and dwarf planets and stuff, like you miss a lot. A lot can be missed. Like if you were to not account for Orcus or Juno, you would only see Mercury and Venus. That's all you would see. But Orcus and Juno by far have the most activity around them. Like it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. All right, I'm gonna get a little sippy sip before we get started. I can't believe the nodes are shifting in January. Yeah. Get ready for Pisces, more Pisces. Actually, I forgot when this was. I think it was in a live. Maybe it was on Patreon. Someone brought it to my attention. Or was it a session? It might have been a client session. Because Saturn's in Pisces, right? And we're moving from North Node Aries to Pisces. And then Saturn's going to go from Pisces to Aries. So it's interesting because we're learning a lot from Saturn right now that is almost preparing us for the North Node being in Pisces when it transitions in January. I think it transitions like literally January 1st or something crazy like that. Anyway, coming back. So Saturn's kind of preparing us for that North Node experience, and the North Node experience we're having now is preparing us for our next Saturn experience because they're going to go like, whoop, they're going to go like that. It's very, very interesting. I need a new word, but I do like that word. Interesting kind of just encompasses everything, you know? What is going on with sinus congestion right now? It seems like a few of us are dealing with it. I think a lot of people are dealing with it. To be honest, I feel, okay, because I've been going through it too, as you guys saw in the Mercury retrograde video. I'm not gonna lie, that was a hard video to get through. And I was like, in my mind as I was doing it, I'm like, you should not be doing this right now. And I'm like, but I want to. I want to so bad. I think it's for a couple of things. I do think that on one hand, it's actually an indication of things that are trying to be released. When we're like all congested up here, it's in relation to the throat chakra and the third eye and the crown, right? So it's like, it's our willingness to embrace truth and expression and to not feel suppressed in our own truth and not feel suppressed in our own ability to be honest and express ourselves and act out of our truth when all of that gets kind of compromised. And especially if you had anything like deep in the chest, there's also probably grief tied to that too, and probably some heart chakra stuff tied to that too. So I think that that's one reason why that's been happening. But another could also be activations, honestly. And I know for the collective, it's like we had that weird like digestive stuff happening, and now there's this weird like sinus stuff happening. So it's like, it's going this way, right? So some people I think are going through some sort of upgrades, expansions that are also trying to like dislodge toxic things to let go of. As I said that, it's your responsibility to maintain that, is what just came through. That is interesting. It's your responsibility to maintain that. Like to stay clean. Interesting. Okay, let's see here. Am I doing groups or am I doing collective? All I'm getting is the crow. Okay, then is that collective then? that garnet? Crow. Garnet. I feel, I'm tempted to say collective, but I feel the pull to do groups. I feel the pull to do groups. Because I'm getting this vibe with like crow, garnet. That feels very underworld. That feels like Orcus to me. That feels very underworld to me. Yeah, like it's time to sever. It's time to sever certain things that just need to go. But it's really about things you have been obliging, entertaining. It feels very, very like subconscious, like in the psyche. Okay, I just need to like do some automatic writing and then we'll get into it, okay? I just want to make sure I get all this down. Because I just got a big throat energy here. Like a need to like vocally relinquish, declare freedom. Vocally relinquish, declare freedom. Some of you, this is going to be tangible conversations. Others is going to be more just like solo, like just agreeing with yourself to like let something go. But it feels like it needs to be declared. It needs to be declared, almost like putting a stamp on a contract, right? Like it needs to be declared. Keep going back is what I just heard. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. I'm going to treat this as groups. We'll see how it goes. Y'all know I just flow with things because I can feel it. They want me to keep it collective, but I keep feeling the pull to do groups. So I'm just going to read for this and we'll see what happens. We'll just take it from there. Whoever's going to resonate with any of this, like they were showing me the crow, and I got this crystal garnet, and just like something is like very deeply buried, like buried or going on in the psyche. You may even have like stuff going on in the back of your head energetically, but there's a need to utilize the throat to relinquish and declare your own freedom from these things that you are obliging or entertaining. And with the keep going back, there's this feeling of like you keep going back to it, you keep going back to it. Like whoever may resonate with this, it's like you might go through periods where you really actually have freed yourself, but it's like it wasn't fully, or you like regressed, or you just came back. What keeps you coming back? What keeps you coming back? Is it fear? It feels like just out of familiarity or difficulty with like really truly cementing your own freedom. Oh, interesting. I should have done a timestamp for this. Difficulty cementing freedom. Where are we at? I'll just mark, I'm gonna guess. I'll mark this at 41 minutes. It's a guess, I don't know. If anyone has the timestamp, I would appreciate it. It reminds me too of the section where I talked about this with Orcus. When I was figuring out what I wanted to label the section, I actually saw a ship and I got the word anchors, almost like you're trying to set sail, but you keep dropping anchor. And then you keep pulling it up, but then you keep dropping it back. Like I feel like that's a fear response. That feels like a fear response to me. Like the ship is ready, you got your supplies, you got your sails, the wind is coming in, and you're about to go and you're like, let's drop anchor real quick. Let's drop anchor again. It's whatever you're entertaining. I'm getting so many words, hold on. There's a denial happening with that behavior, I gotta be honest. Because I just heard, what's the harm? What's the harm in it? What's the harm in it? There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But there is, because you're literally stopping your shit from moving. But there's a denial about that. It's time. It's time to set sail. It's time to set sail. So do it. Set sail. It's funny how messages come through. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull some cards. Still can't believe I cut my finger. Oh God, I'm like bleeding through the Band-Aid. Oh, okay. We'll go with the Power of Elements deck. I've really been enjoying this one recently. It's so crazy because like some of you, okay, let me back up. Most of you, it feels like literally something that's non-physical, like it's a ideology you keep going back to, or a way you treat yourself, or like it feels very like belief system oriented, and it feels like when you go back to it or you fall back into it, it's so subtle. Some of you might not even know, like that you keep going back to it, and then you wonder why something isn't progressing in your life. It's really interesting. All right. Oh shit! Can I not shuffle with this? No, I gotta be able to shuffle. Just hurts a little bit. Any messages or insights regarding these messages? There's this feeling of not being prepared too. Hold on a second. So keep in mind, I'm reading for a lot of people. So the group or part of the collective that resonates with this, I'm picking up on different groups within this group, essentially. And I'm picking up on a subgroup of this group. It's like they were showing me the boat, and it was like you're going, and then suddenly you don't feel ready. Like suddenly you don't feel prepared. But what do you need to prepare for? If you're setting sail off into the seas of the unknown, what do you need to prepare for? You have your supplies. You got the wind. You got the sails. Oh, I just got hit with a wave of sadness. I just heard my crew. Oh, some of you feel like you're on the ship alone, and that's why you don't feel prepared. You want a crew. That makes me sad. Totally get it. That makes me kind of sad. Any message, that might be the fear. That might be the fear. That might be the root and the ideology too. Any messages or insights for the collective? I feel like for this particular group of people who are resonating, that might be your Saturn Pisces lesson, honestly. To have faith in that you'll be okay. I don't like the feeling though. I can feel it in my heart. It feels very like, yeah, scared. I feel scared, scary. It's interesting too, because I almost feel like, because I keep getting, you have the wind in your sails, and then when I tuned into that feeling, it was like the wind is gone. Like even just that emotion takes the wind out of your sails. Oh my God, we're going real deep here. Yeah, some of you don't realize that you're taking your own wind out of your own sails. Like you're actually depleting your own motivation, your own physical energy because of this ideology or this fear. Some of you, it's actually just sadness. I don't even have a card out yet. How do we get the wind back in the sails? How do we move past that? This is also, okay, this is also reminding me of Mercury retrograde, just some of the lessons that I was tuning into, the themes of Mercury retrograde, which again is going to be the next 6 weeks. there was a lot of like repetitive patterns. Actually, it was more with the signs. When I was going through the signs and just my channelings for them, something that kept coming up a lot, I have to look back in my notes, was capability. There's a questioning of your own capability of being able to handle a certain experience, or being able to handle going in a certain direction, being able to handle even just like lifting up the anchor and leaving port, however that translates for you in this metaphor. So I want to rephrase, I want to repeat myself. Some of you, it's questioning your own capability of even leaving where you're at, even leaving what you know, even leaving the port. Some of you, it's questioning your capability of handling the journey. Some of you, it's questioning your capability of being able to man the ship by yourself. Yeah, it's about capability. Can't even make this up. Let go. Adapt and flow with ease. Answers will come. Remove the energy blocks in you. Actually, I think both of these came out for different signs in Mercury retrograde video that I did. Again, definitely look at it if you can tolerate my coughing. I know it was a lot because like I don't have a problem coughing in front of people and like going through all my shit in front of people. Y'all know. But like sometimes you just get sick of feeling it yourself, right? And that's just where I was at in that video. I just want to give that disclaimer. But let's come back to the present moment here with this week. Yeah, let go and answers will come. This is not like a one answer solution, because it really is dependent on what you're questioning as far as specifically with what you think you are not capable of, or the fear or the sadness or an ideology, a thought form. All of them are kind of tied together. It's not a one answer thing, because even with the let go, the adapt and flow with ease, some of you, it's almost like a sacrifice needs to be made. Like instead of continuing to drop your anchor, maybe you should sell the anchor and just not even have it around you. Like, you know what I mean? So like, that almost reminds me of like addiction, but like behavior, like just don't have it around you, right? It's kind of interesting. But there's another thing I'm feeling here too, where it's also, how do you gather the strength and the confidence to relinquish your own fear, to relinquish your own doubt? The easy answer is love, but that's like, you know, that's a really easy answer. That's, I almost want to say a cheap answer, to be honest with you. Some of you, the answer is finding your own personal power. How do you learn to believe in yourself in something you haven't done before? Some of you, it's facing sadness. Some of you, it's actually needing to even figure out what you're even afraid of in the first place, if it's a fear-based thing. So it's very different across the board. But when it comes down to it, you got to ask yourself why you keep dropping anchor. Why does the anchor matter to you so much? Because like I can feel it. The anchor is almost like a coping mechanism, or just something very familiar to you. Or the port itself that you're leaving is very familiar to you, or a coping mechanism. Again, very different depending on how this is manifesting in your life. Yeah, if it's more like physical, it's like you're afraid to leave a certain environment, or you're afraid to leave a certain job, or something that like provides you some sort of stability, right? Or that can even be like relating to addictive behaviors too. It's like, how do you live without that vice, or how do you live without that sense of comfort? If it's more emotional, that feels like there is like some sort of trauma response happening. Yeah, that's more fear. If it's mental, I actually think there's like doubt and confusion that's happening there. I don't like that. If it's really truly mental, it's like you're kind of just talking yourself out of it. It's almost like creating situations that aren't even happening, that are just creating anchors that are keeping you from moving forward. It's like creating doubt out of thin air. And if it's more like fire based, that is the taking the wind out of your sails. Like you're exhausting your own motivation with your, oh my God, you're exhausting your motivation with your worry. So that's how that came through. Yeah, literally, I just like, after feeling that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's pull more cards. Let's pull more cards. Moving on from this deck, though. Let's get into the animals. I think the animals really want to talk a lot today. Okay. Jumped in and resonating. Hello. Welcome, welcome. I don't remember if I came up with the new moon Leo or Mercury retrograde video. I guess I did a lot of videos the last couple of days. Go with the flow of your own river. I know that came through at some point last couple of days. Go with the flow of your own river. Go with the flow of your own river. It could be very tempting because okay, I gotta stop. Because the river is constantly moving. We're always on a journey. The journey is basically a river. Okay, just think of it that way. I think a lot of times when we like think about journeys, we're like walking on a path. We're really not. We're actually like floating down a river. Is really more what it is. Because there's twists, there's turns. Sometimes it gets turbulent. Sometimes it's really calm. Sometimes there's rocks and shit in your way. Sometimes your canoe flips over. You gotta like recover for a hot minute. But when you go down a river, like you do have to navigate. You have to also pay attention. You have to be present. And it can be really easy to get distracted by other people and other canoes. It can be really easy to get distracted by the fear of what may be down the line, but you have no idea because you can't see down that far because you're on a river, right? Could be around the corner. You have no idea what's around the corner. That's something that they just wanted me to speak on, and maybe that'll be helpful here. There's a lot of should, coulds, woulds. I can feel that too. It's like, yeah, this is also why Saturn in Pisces is also helping us, even though it feels like it's creating a challenge. It's really the challenge of just go with the flow of your own river. That's really just what the challenge is. Everything is always in motion. You just gotta keep moving forward, but do it with presence. And do it with honesty. I can feel the emotional component here for some of you. There are some people that are really, really struggling to be honest with themselves about this anchor situation. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. How to not be afraid of the adventure of life. It's going to be individual answer for everybody. Any messages or insights here? Ooh, we got the eagle. The eagle is a master of air and fire. Also, this card is the world card to me. When the eagle comes out, it is very much like, hey, there's shit starting and there's shit ending. You gotta move. You gotta move. You gotta go. You gotta go with it. You gotta go with it. Eagle is very action oriented in this deck. Eagle also just as a medicine is divine wisdom and divine messenger, and having that psychic sight, being able to be very tactile as well with what you're seeing and discerning as well. But that honestly, that's what I'm getting with this. It's like, it's time. You gotta leave the port. That's just what I keep getting. It's like you have to leave the port. And we already know this to be true, but it needs to be reiterated here. You gotta leave the port. Don't worry about the destination. Don't worry about being at the next port. Don't worry about that. It really truly is about the journey. It really is. I think that's something that people are going to learn very well with this Mercury retrograde, especially with all the twists and turns that might be happening too. Yeah, don't get fixated is what I just heard. Don't get so fixated. Can I get another one, please? Whoa. Wow. Oh, Earthworm. Kind of perfect to be coming in here. Because Eagle's like the world card, so major beginnings and endings. But Earthworm is that feeling of discomfort in a completely foreign situation. Or like, this is totally out of my comfort zone. It's kind of like the Fool card. It's kind of like the 0 point. So we literally have two cards that represent like very drastic beginnings. But a high level of discomfort and like my God, what's the turn? Hold on. But also just a high level discomfort from just a foreign way of being or a foreign environment or a foreign situation. And then we have stingray and black egg. This definitely feels like finding the voice, finding the truth. So remember, like, I forget, someone asked me about like all the sinus stuff that's been happening. So black egg is the throat chakra in this deck, and it's been coming out a lot. And every time it's come out, I've gotten this I've gotten this energy that, how was I saying it? Trying to remember the words I used. Ignored or unexpressed truth, like something like that, which also is aligned with just why do you keep pulling down, why do you keep dropping the anchor? Why do you keep dropping the anchor? Why do you keep stopping yourself? Finding that, I really want to say finding your voice. With Stingray is beautiful here because Stingray is my King of Cups card. Stingray is about emotional and spiritual strength in the face of hard times, in the face of really hard situations or difficult people, difficult words, difficult emotions. It's about maintaining a sense of integrity and higher wisdom of self, and not wavering from that. Hold on. ah. Okay. And not wavering from that. It's finding that. It's finding that. It's finding your voice. It's finding your truth, and also allowing yourself to get to a place of not just acceptance about whatever that truth is, but really growing your own emotional maturity with it and your own spiritual maturity at that. And just recognize the anchor for what it is, right? And let it go. Don't have it on your ship anymore. Sell it, get rid of it, whatever. But it is through acknowledging the truth and just allow it to make you stronger in your faith as you sail away, right? So I love that that came out there. Very nice. Hold on, where am I going with this? Yeah, we'll go with Fae. We'll go with the Fae deck. Okay. All right. Any other messages or insights for the spread? Again, some of you may feel an energy of sacrifice here. Hold on, let me fix the chat. Okay. Oh, I just love it when they all come together. It'll be the retriever, 41 breaking down to a 5. It'll be the retriever recovers things, recovers lost, forgotten things that you're like, oh shit, that was back there the whole time. It could be, you know, forgotten or lost hopes, wishes, and dreams. Could even be memories. And even the way he's like holding at his throat could even be the voice, dare I say, or your own truth, which is kind of what we were already gathering, right? It's like go deep down within yourself and really try to get to the root of like, why do you keep dropping this freaking anchor? Or why can't you allow yourself to leave the port? Ilby's going to help you remember why. Also, I feel like Ilby's going to help to give a reason to set sail. And then we literally have lists of the shadows, which is beautiful. And the 4s too, 41, and we have 44 coming out here. List of the shadows is literally how it sounds. She breaks through the dark with her light. It is a breaking up and breaking out. It is allowing yourself to set sail, to be set free. To be set free. I don't even need to explain further why that's here. It's all part of the energy that we've been talking about. Let's see. I can get one more. Can I get one more? Woo! Oh, we have the Maiden. Is this another 4? Oh my God. Look at this. Hold on. I love when this happens. 41, 44, 14. Synchronicities and mirror numbers happening here. I would say that's pretty significant. But the Maiden coming out is kind of like a baby energy to me. It's a card of purity. It's a card of innocence. It feels like there is this recapturing of childlike curiosity, which is very much Gemini and is very much what's going on here. It's like, yes, go, be, fly the nest, little birdie, like go, go. And you can only do it by really like acknowledging why you keep dropping anchor and why you're not letting yourself leave the port in that metaphor. Okay. Very nice. I'm going to pull some tarot cards here, and then I'm going to tune in and see if we're going to be doing another group or not, or if this is just going to be the collective reading. Okay. Any other messages or insights related to the spread? Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Queen of Pentacles is a very good multitasker. She manages home, household work, the kids, all of it. He or she, doesn't matter. But her focus, or your focus, or our focus, is very much on the material, physical plane. Security is actually, it's more about the security. Thank you. It's more about the security in the long term. Signing something through. I just heard there's a lot to be unsure about. There's a lot to be unsure about, but that shouldn't make your faith waver. That is, again, a test of faith. A testament to faith. Thank you. Anything else? Wow. Okay. Quite a bit going on here. Queen of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Nine of Pentacles. Some of you are questioning your own relationship to your independence, and interdependence. The Queen of Pentacles doesn't always have a partner, but more than likely does, or is involved with other people, dealing with other people, working with other people. Well, the Nine of Pentacles, not so much. She's kind of on her own. She's kind of solo. I keep getting this thing about security, and that there's a lot to be unsure about. There's a lot to be unsure about. Some of you may be questioning if you are, I don't even want to entertain some of this, but like questioning if you're going to lose your security, like your material security. Some of you, this is also getting to the root of your actual like confidence and self-esteem versus how you try to achieve security. Like, how do I want to say this? How to feel secure within yourself versus trying to feel secure externally by way of material things or just things outside of yourself. That's also what's going on here too. Yeah. Like if you were to not be a Queen of Pentacles anymore, if you were to like not focus so much on external material matters, would you still feel good about yourself? Would you still feel valuable? Would you still feel confident? Would you still feel stable even if this went away? Yeah. I think there's more to be said. Let's pull a couple more cards. Some of you are debating about getting rid of material possessions. There is definitely a therapy about that, for sure. A King of Pentacles. So, like I mentioned to you, partnership is a huge thing with this particular week. Almost said moon. This particular week. Also, the new moon Virgo is going to be really important for a lot of people. Just there's so much earth energy here, and even the moon standing out in Nine of Pentacles, also Virgo energy. Look at all the earth signs here, actually, of Virgo, Cappy, and Taurus. But yeah, the new moon Virgo may be a very, very beautiful time for a lot of us, especially after Mercury retrograde is done. Pluto and Uranus will be retrograde at that time. Pluto will also be back into Capricorn. But September 2nd, that new moon in Virgo has a really beautiful conjunction in a lot of Libra energy. It's just going to be a nice new moon to be cultivating things. But anyway, let's go ahead and come back. Yeah, some of you, there may be a question of partnership here of, would you, again, questioning how much you'd rather be independent or interdependent. So King of Pentacles, I think, is also confirming that. But something else is coming through there. Tell me more about this King of Pentacles energy. What is this King of Pentacles energy here? Some of you may not realize it. So when they give me messages, sometimes it just comes in so fast. It takes me a while to organize my words, especially today. For this month of August, with Mercury retrograde, the new moon Leo, the full moon Aquarius, all of that, you may be thinking that you are like starting something tangibly. It's really going to be like providing you something that you're going to need when you really truly start it, is how that came through. And I feel that's why I'm feeling new. I think that's what I'm feeling with new moon Virgo. Like something about new moon Virgo feels like a true start to something, while it's like this month feels like you think you are, but you're really just going to be learning so you can actually start truly later. That's how that's coming through. Anyway, tell me about the King of Pentacles. A lot of contemplation here. King of Pentacles and the High Priestess. With the High Priestess and the Moon around all this Pentacle energy, I just also keep feeling this questioning about security and resources and finances, but also our own confidence and value and worth, all wrapped up in that. Big question mark on future. Big question mark on future. And again, going deep within, the Moon and High Priestess also allude to that. Going deep within is going to help you be set free from all of this. Can I get a card for the High Priestess? Sorry, so many things. Telepathy. You may be feeling people very strongly too at this time or upcoming. It almost feels like, yeah, wow, that's what I thought. Okay. I didn't even get the words out before the cards came out. King of Pentacles, High Priestess, Four of Wands, and the Sun. That's what I was going to say. It almost feels like you're feeling certain things falling into alignment, potentially even telepathy with certain people. Pay attention to your dreams during this time as well. But there's this pull that I couldn't stop feeling. I mentioned it earlier too in the astrology portion with the White Rabbit asteroid having an influence there. Like this undeniable pull or lure or call that you're feeling towards certain people that you can't really explain, that will be revealed as things play out. Just trust the flow of your own river, right? And then we lead to the Four of Wands and the Sun. Some people will look at this as a portal. Some people look at this as moving into some sort of commitment or some sort of agreement, or even a celebration with other people. But the Sun being there, it's very indicative of a very, very happy time. We also have the Sun and the Moon and the High Priestess out here too. Okay. Oh, the polarity. That's what I feel like I'm looking at. Oh, the polarity. You could see this as masculine, feminine influences coming through, internal, external influences at play, which we've been talking about the importance of that, especially over on Patreon. It feels like really allowing yourself to get into that internal place to deal with why you're dropping anchor, why you can't leave port so you can truly set sail. But as you do that, there's also this it feels almost like magnets being pulled together, coming together, crossing paths is also what I'm getting to. Especially for those who are struggling with, but wait, I want my crew. Your crew is probably coming. And you can feel it. As you move and leave the port, you will feel it. You will feel yourself moving into that sort of alignment. Now, when this comes to pass is going to be different for everybody. And like I said, something about the new moon Virgo feels really important for this. Like this month is the time, and I talked about this on Patreon, this is the month of refinement, Okay, this is the month of refinement, and the new moon Virgo is really a great new moon to truly plant seeds and cultivate. There's just so much change going on with this particular month, and so much adaptability that is going to be required of people. And there's still a lot of self-discovery happening this month, that I think it's actually more of a support for what's to come later and for what can happen later. But for this month and this week in particular, you have to leave the port. And you have to dig deep down as to why you're not leaving port and why you keep dropping anchor. And once you do, yeah, that can come in. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're doing groups today. That feels very complete, actually. So just a collective reading today was necessary, apparently. But I hope you guys really enjoyed today with the astrology and the reads. And I hope you guys also enjoyed the Mercury retrograde video. Oh, excuse me, even through my struggles to get it out there and to do it. What did you say about meeting new people at this time? Oh, that meeting new people at this time, especially if it's presenting some sort of partnership, can be life-changing and can be deeply transformative, and also help you to really see deep within yourself and understand yourself a whole lot more. So I would actually invest a lot of time in partnerships this week and this month. Because honestly, it's just going to show you a lot that you couldn't see on your own. So more so than normal. I know relationships help us do that, but it's going to be more so than normal. So I would really entertain partnerships if you can. Just again, when it comes to finalizing plans and contracts and obligations and agreements, that's where I would just practice discernment. It's not bad to finalize plans now. There will just be things that happen along the way for the rest of the month that will change those plans, but will get you to see things that you couldn't otherwise. Okay. And then don't forget also this whole anchor metaphor and leaving the port metaphor. There is also a need to acknowledge what you have been entertaining, obliging, tying yourself to, promises, oaths, spoken, unspoken, past life, ancestral, way you imprison yourself, all those things that you do need to acknowledge and remove yourself from and free yourself from. That is a lot of what came through here today. Okay? All right. I'm going to go now. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week and a great night, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Take care.